It's one of those shoes that comes along and you look at it and you know it's an absolute jewel, an absolute gem, and we're talking a Dunk and they're all fire right now. So if you've got a Dunk that's a gem, it's the top of the pile. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, man alive, I want to talk about that shoe. It's got everything that I would want to bring to the channel. But do I have the cojones to do it? And basically I don't. Frankly, I'm not knowledgeable enough about this shoe to talk about every detail on it, and I bet you there's people out there who are knowledgeable about that and can help us out in the comments down below. And also, this shoe's got so many different parts on it. If I did try and go through each and every one of them, we'd be here for ages. But what I'm going to do is, instead of that, is I'm going to stick with what I know best. I'm not going to try to be something I'm not. I'm not going to try and guess my way through a shoe that I don't know well enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on the parts of the shoe that I do know well enough, the bits that I'm interested in, and the bits that I think are important to talk about and to show you guys out there, so you can understand what an epic shoe this is. And then hopefully what you guys will do, and if you've read the title of this video, you'll realize I'm asking you to take me to school. You'll add to that. You'll tell me down in the comments down below why this bit of the shoe is relevant. What's the main part of it? There's a particular bit of the shoe that I don't like, but I think it's got a story behind it, and you might be able to tell me about that too. So here we go into this video where you take me to school about the upcoming release of the Nike SB Dunk Low. What the P-Rod. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel des. Mainichi Absolute no Day. Mainichi Media Design every single day. From Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And right now we're talking an awful lot about the colour of my shirts and how they have to match a certain colour to be good on the green screen. And the reason we're doing that is because 2 days ago we did an unboxing. And when I do unboxings, it's great because I don't need the green screen. I can wear whatever I like. But we're back with the green screen, and that means grey shirts so that it doesn't clash with the old green screen behind me here. But you know, these are the times we live in, the technology of the age. Maybe sometime in the future we'll be able to take this to VI and see where that goes. But for now, this is where we're at, and today it's all about the upcoming release of the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro from the P-Rod, Paul Rodriguez, one of the longest serving skateboarders in the SB stable at Nike. Been there for a very, very long time, long enough to generate something like 10 signature sneakers, and all of those 10 signature sneakers are mashed up, put into a blender, and out pops the What the P-Rod's, an absolutely incredible shoe. And there's a ton of overlaps between those previous shoes and this one today, and I'm going to pick out the bits in there, the ones in there that I think, you know what, that's what gets me, that's what attracts me to this shoe. And then a couple of questions that are like, I'm not sure what they're doing there, help. And you guys can tell me more in the comments down below about where you think this shoe's going. I was kind of surprised to see that some of the shoes that I've pulled elements from aren't doing all that well at resale, and I was kind of like, I was expecting a bit more from that. But I don't know if these guys will take that resale higher and out into a stronger market. Don't know where it's going to go, but what I do know is they're epic, they're fire shoes, they do a lot of things that I love to see shoes do, and I'm going to take you through that right now. So first things first, what I want to do is I want to go right around to the back. Usually I wouldn't do this, wouldn't start on the heel of the shoe, but there's 2 points on the heel of these shoes that really do it for me, and I want to get into those before we move forward to my all-time favorite part of the shoe. So the first things first on the back end of these guys is to do with the heel branding, and then directly to below that, the ankles on these guys. So first things first, those heel brandings, I just love it when they take the time to mismatch the left and the right shoes, and these heel brandings are a perfect way to do that. And you've got on one of them the Nike, the standard kind of Nike branding in that very thin branding panel there, and then on the other one you've got the kind of rainbow effect and Paul Rodriguez signature in the middle of that. So you've got a totally different heel branding on the shoes, and that way you know that they've really taken the time and the money to put these shoes together. So it would be very easy for, even if it was different colors or different branding materials, if they were the same actual branding, that's much cheaper, much easier to produce if you think of machines and factories and stuff like that. So when they do something like this, it is not just different materials, not just different colors, but actually different branding, completely different elements from the left and right shoes. You know they've taken a lot of time over them, and hopefully the quality control will be up there with the design control. So love that branding. But then directly below that, 2 of my favorite features on the shoes are the ankle kind of support areas on both the left and right shoes. Very, very different, completely different materials, completely different styles, but they do it for me in 2 different ways. Now, the first is on the right shoe. Now, I don't know how this will look on the green screen behind me here, because I always get this wrong. I think the right shoe's over my left shoulder, but as you're looking at it, it's the right shoe. So I think it'll be here, below that branding panel. You can see the sort of ankle line, and it's quite thin, but on the right shoe, it's in this sort of square weave, and I totally dig that. I think it's a very cool material. Don't know anything about the other shoes that it might have come from Paul Rodriguez and his previous lines at Nike and Dunk, but it might be pulled off one of those shoes. But what I like about it is just how it looks and what it does on the shoe and how it feels to me, and that's the reason why that's in my sort of picks of these shoes today. And then opposite that, on the left shoe over my right shoulder, I think it's probably over there, I wanted to pick this point out because when I did the what they called the waters, the Sting waters, recently, hopefully I can put up a picture of those guys, that I talked about the marbling effect that runs through the entire length of that shoe on the panels, the overlays I should say, not the panels, and then I talked about never seen that before in Dunks before, and somebody was kind enough to write in the comments down below about where that kind of originated from. And then here we see the same kind of effect, of course not in red like those Sting waters, but here in darker tones, but it's still that same kind of pebbled effect or marbled effect or dimpled effect or whatever you want to go for. So for sure those were two really major elements of the shoes that really jumped out to me, the little ankle support areas and the different materials used in there. And not too far away from all that, it's very easy to look down from above on these guys and see what's going on in three different places. The tongues, very cool, very nice, love the mixed up branding down there again. Very different branding in style and design and structure and materials, in colour and absolutely everything. One shoe's got the kind of the Paul Rodriguez sort of feel to it in the signature style, but then the other one has got a sort of standard font in a very deep brown. It's very, very cool the way that they have that difference between the two tongues. Back from that into the insoles, and you can see a lot of variation there, but the main thing we're going for on this particular view of the shoes is the lining on both of them, different colours but both in that quilted luxurious kind of lining on the inside of the shoe, so you know you're in for a very comfortable ride and a really nice snug fit. And then as we come forward from that, we get to the bit that confuses me about the shoes, and then we get to my favourite bit of the shoes, and the bit that confuses me is the Dubrays. I'm not really sure what's going on with these guys here. I'm not sure what story they tell, what message they're sending, what brands they're sort of pushing from either Dunk or from Paul Rodriguez or from skateboarding or something like that. There's story there that I just don't know. But for me, that it kind of sort of a jolt on the shoe. The shoe flows like this, and then Dubrays kind of go off to a different angle. They just don't really feel it for me. Maybe if I knew the story, maybe if I knew the backstory on those, I'd feel a bit more, but I just don't quite get it. But that doesn't matter, because we come forward from that to my all-time favourite thing on shoes. I think this might be my top number one thing to see on shoes, and that is elephant print. I am an absolute sucker for elephant print, especially on Jordan 3s. If you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me talking about Jordan 3s before, and especially the fire red 3s that I got last year, and how much I'm in love with that elephant print on Jordan 3s. And here it is carried over. We've seen it on Dunks before, but you know, in the case of these guys, it's on the left foot toe box that you see it wrapped up in there with that elephant print all the way around it. So it's very, very cool. But what's inside of that is something again that I don't know about. Some kind of gold and black staggered effect, a sort of flow between the two, a kind of worn away effect on the toe that's there with the elephant print. So something definitely going on in there. And then the last thing that I want to look at, and there's a lot, like I said, in the shoe. I've probably only covered like 10% of the shoes, and there's so much more going on in terms of materials and details, but these are my highlights. And the last place to look at is on the outsoles. We've got a kind of cool shot. Usually when you've got the promotional materials, they'll show you the outsole of one shoe, but it's great with the mismatched effect on these guys that you can see the outsoles on both shoes and a totally different feel to them. Even the different panels, they're not broken up in the same way, if you know what I mean. They've got a different kind of way of breaking up the shoe, especially when you look towards the forefoot, where you've got that circle and the kind of emanating lines out of it, the way they're coloured on the two different shoes, and the blocking is done differently, which I kind of appreciate as well. So and I think that's pretty much everything about the shoes. Hopefully I've covered all the different little points that really jump out to me. There's probably a ton more. May 22nd is the drop date we're talking about, and I think I'm right in saying May 22nd is a skateboard shop drop date, and they're talking about like May 24th, for a sneakers app drop date, but I don't know if those things are true or not. I think the 24th with sneakers app is a guess based on the fact that the official images have come out, but the skate shops is an actual sort of hard date that you can take to the bank, May 22nd. So big shoe coming up, big skateboarder, big line, just about anything that starts with what the dunk. There's tons of different lines out there that use the moniker. There's a bunch of Air Force Ones a few years ago as well that did it too, and it's always this sort of mismatched and mixed up effect. And then here we are with Paul Rodriguez taking that to the next level, and it's a continuation of all of the dunks that he's pushed out. I think last year it was a dunk highs from him, actually, when I think about it. And with that being said, I think we'll just finish that one up there. Hopefully you guys appreciate that look at these shoes, my take on it, and if you can take us to school, take me to school, and tell me more about the shoes that you like, bits that you are interested in, or bits that have a bit of story to them that elevates it up a bit more, and it isn't just it isn't just a multicolour swoosh. It's more than that, for example. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to learn, and a lot to know in these shoes, and I'd love to do all of that. So let me know in the comments down below. But for now, it's time just to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for checking out the content. But you know what I do at the end of every single video? Because I do this every single day. I say the same thing, which is that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.